Salutations, lurker. Today, I'll be talking about an old notoriously janky title, whose trailer had far more personality than the entirety of the finished product. Dead Island. Now, this old piece of rotten plank has been out for well over a decade. The development was interesting, to say the least, because the Polish parent company Techland was being held by its balls at the time by its publisher Deep Silver, and had their freedom of creativity and expression limited. Naturally, forcing Techland, much like many others after it, to go out one night for milk and cigarettes and never to come back, as is customary in Polish tradition. Instead, selling themselves out in the streets until they are eventually, inevitably, picked up by two peculiar-looking brothers. But I digress, because today we will be focusing on the reproductive organ failure that is Dead Island 1. But Alda, why are you re-reviewing this amusingly abhorrent piece of rusted crap if you hate it so much? Because, my dear viewer, that review wasn't all that good. Nostalgia is both a blessing and a curse. So this thing, being over a decade old, has managed to spawn and kill quite a few spin-offs, one continuation, and a full-on half-baked sequel, 9 years after its trailer dropped. The game classifies itself as a first-person zombie action role-playing game, with your role solely being relegated to one of the 4 errand boys, each one with their own colorful, unique personalities. A belligerent douchebag who has a tendency to get drunk and throw shit at people. A ratioed black cop with an aimbot and a bio to rival a Tumblr blogger. A bootleg Genshin Impact cameo. Wielding a potato peeler, she is coming at ya for your balls. And last, but not least, a fan favorite, Samuel's bitch.
One Halloween, I come up with, who do you voodoo, bitch?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
The game starts off with you waking up in a hotel room after getting completely shit-faced, and not long after realizing that the entire island went to shit overnight. You try escaping before getting the old 1-2 from a zombie and getting rescued by 2 lifeguards. Then you save one of them in return, and from there on, the game opens up. Go pick up whatever you see and clobber some zombies with it, be it a paddle, a broomstick, or even a fucking crate. Which leads me to paddles, hammers, boxes, propane tanks, knives, cars, everything and almost anything is a weapon. And it is all clunky as hell. Beat an old lady with a stick? No, I'll beat you with a stick! Please don't get me wrong. Some of the weapons do feel satisfying, such as the electric sledgehammers. Yep. Fun side note, electric mod on any sledgehammer is downright busted. A crit with that thing will always lead to almost any zombie getting decked, flying across the street with them usually getting insta-killed soon as they splat against something. It's also how I once killed the final boss of the game, but I digress. Naturally, weapon modifications are a thing. Sci-fi London, buzz axes, Asmongold's kitchen knife, force, and even grenades from 5-minute crafts that actually work and have a fucking use. There is a large variety of said mods, albeit like a third of them are more or less the same thing but for different types of weapons. There are also the developer blueprints, hidden as a form of an Easter egg that are there simply to just have a piss with the game and the engine itself. To get them, you have to do the following. Get skull, bring skull to the other skull, get blueprint, enforce and employ child labor to afford it, craft it, and have fun. For like the next 15 seconds or so. Oh, and also you can become Palpitines. The game itself is melee-oriented for the most part of the game, so you will have to rely on your trusty upgraded and hopefully modified weapon. That is, until you reach the second act of the game, where you finally go inland to the city of Moresby. Moresby? Moresby? Whatever the fuck. From there, gunfights with looters and random pesky schmucks become a relatively common thing. The firefights, ironically enough, can easily be compared to a meal at McDonald's. Mediocre and nothing really to write home about. It does what it's meant to do, and while it does feel satisfying at times, it could, however, have been so much more and so much better with just a tad bit more care and effort. Speaking of firearms, they are quite useful against the special infected of the game, an idea that was shamelessly yoinked from Left 4 Dead. How brave. There are 7 types of special infected: walkers, infected, thugs, suiciders, rams, floaters, and butchers. Names given by yet another uninspired basic hack without a fucking soul. Was probably a ginger. Therefore, I shall rename them accordingly. An average dream stand. Your belligerent father. Aggressive herpes. Andrew Tate. Bat to the bone. And finally, Wings of Redemption.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Now before we move on, there's another feature I have to mention, and that is Fury. This shit is fun for the first few times you use it, because of how overpowered it can be sometimes. And it comes in a small, yet colorful variety. A JoJo reference, the Second Amendment, a stroll through London, and everyday burger. You can use this thing once you fill the bar right here, and can be upgraded in this branch. It's pretty damn powerful and satisfying to use, but its limited duration can be tiresome sometimes. Intermission. Hey you, do you want unlimited Fury mode, but better? Then I invite you to enter One Punch mode, a mode that has been introduced with the re-release of the Definitive Edition to justify the re-release that hardly anyone has ever blinked at. A mode where your punches are infused with the JoJos and are equivalent to using an electrical socket as tranquilizer. And your kicks sends the fuckers to and through space so hard it slows down gravity and kills dolphins. The drawbacks being you not being able to host co-op games with the mode enabled or to access the sweaty douchebag area of challenges and achievements. Intermission over. However, it's also quite a shame since despite the game having all these good things and ideas, to tell you the truth, the gameplay is only serviceable at best. Obviously, it's more fun with friends, since this heap of donkey shit is meant to be played as such, which can be applied to any other game with co-op under the fucking sun. Unfortunately for me, I have none to speak of, so you'll have to take me at my word. I'm a sad little man. Oh, and also there's driving in this game. That's right, you can drive shit. In fact, you have to at times to progress the story. And as expected, that shit feels janky as hell. Good luck turning without crashing or hooking onto something, or having the windshield suddenly crack from the smallest impact and turn brown, as if someone threw a metal bucket of shit. Because the company had a single playtester who not once considered to do his fucking job and test the damn thing for bugs. Probably got too caught up in the afternoon vodka and biscuits. Then again, the player animations aren't all that much better, to be honest, given how effortlessly made they were. Probably by yet another unpaid intern. Nevertheless, despite the jank, you can still have some fun killing shit in any number of ways. Unlike the story and how it was advertised. The trailer for this game is the sole reason why the franchise even has a spotlight to begin with. All this depressing shit suggested a very emotion-heavy, melancholic story. Instead, what we got was something that is essentially soulless. Do you remember how I mentioned that in this game you play as 1 out of 4 errand boys? Yeah, well, I meant exactly what I fucking said. All you do in this game are fetch quests. One way or another, the quests always seem to boil down to this one specific formula. Go kill X and get the Y, then bring it back. Why us? Because the errand boys have a plot device called immunity to zombie nom-noms. Because game plot. Be my bitch and solve my problems is the name of the game. However, the plot does try to present itself as dire, serious, and sad, but instead, to me it comes off as lackluster and weak, almost as if it was quickly whipped up by a backwater commission writer from Fiverr or something. It has the potential to be something much more, but it just falls flat. A far cry from the emotion-heavy trailer that was hyping everyone up. Eat your hearts out, mobile game companies. Oh, and the said character immunity is a plot point in the cash grab continuation that is Dead Island Riptide. Now, with all that being said, I think it's about time for a little something-something to close this whole thing off. We will use this shit to generate an arbitrary score. Blue, run the numbers. And the final score, although arbitrary, is 6.25 out of 10. Narratively soulless, but with gameplay solid enough to fuck around and have a good time, even if it's just for a short bit. But hey, who the hell cares? If you like the game, go play it. I won't give a shit, or 2. Or 7. That's all I have for you today, Lurker. Thanks for watching. You are truly awesome. Have a good one, and until next time. Alda, bailing out!
Get this freak off me!
無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄